Hey everybody, we are at my fire suppression trailer. Some of you may have noticed I haven't been doing any sawmill videos in a while. I haven't been doing any milling at all. My mill has just been sitting there for the last couple months, unused. One of the reasons is the risk of wildfire. One of the big differences between the West Coast and the East Coast is we get most of our rain during the cool part of the year. During the summer, we get very little, if any, rain. The result of our hot, dry summers is our forests become so tinder dry, we could start a wildfire with just a single spark. Back in July, I decided it was just getting too hot, too dry to want to risk the possibility of starting a wildfire. Not so much from the sawmill, but from chainsaws and equipment running out in the woods to get the logs for the sawmill. That, and it was just getting too hot to want to even be here. A few years ago, there was a fire well to the north of here, too far away to be a danger to here, but it was started by someone who was mowing dry grass. A spark from the mower lit the grass on fire. It ended up being about a 30,000 acre fire. Because he was mowing dry grass after they had banned the mowing of dry grass, he was presented with a bill of well over $30 million for the cost of fighting the fire. That's one of the reasons why we take fire so seriously here. We've had some cooler weather, we've had a little bit of rain, conditions are starting to improve here, but I thought I'd do a video and show you some of the equipment we use, some of the techniques we use to try to prevent sparking a wildfire and to quickly suppress one if we do happen to start one. As a first line of defense, we have some common tools. Starting to get bright out here. When running a chainsaw during fire seasons, we are required to carry a fire extinguisher on our person. This is a 16-ounce fire extinguisher. I keep it on my belt. If a fire gets started, I can quickly pull it out, hopefully put it out. When we do get well into fire season, they do ban public use of chainsaws. But as industrial operators, we can run our saws until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. After 1 o'clock, we can't run them until 8 o'clock in the evening. The idea there is, after 1 o'clock, the humidities drop, the winds pick up, it gets hot. You're more likely to get a fire started and have it get out of control. They always call that hoot owl or hoot owl hours because you can't run during the day or during most of the day, so the owl reference. We're also required to have a shovel on all of our vehicles, all of our equipment for fighting a fire. I also use a Pulaski, or keep one on hand. A Pulaski is a common wildfire firefighting tool. It has an axe on one end and a grubbing tool on the other end. We're also required to carry a gallon of water on our vehicles and in our equipment. Instead, I use this 4-gallon backpack sprayer. You can have it right there handy. If you do start a fire, you can pick it up, pump it up, and hopefully spray the fire out. These are made more for farming or gardening. They're used for spraying herbicides, pesticides, etc. But they're also commonly used for wildfire. And all vehicles and all equipment must have at least a 5-pound approved fire extinguisher. So these are the tools I like to keep on hand close by at all times. But this here is my fire suppression trailer. As industrial operators, we're required to have a source of water. If it's on a trailer, it has to be at least 500 gallons. This is a 525-gallon tank that's full. It's supposed to be somewhere on the job site where it can be easily accessible. This would be maybe at a log landing or somewhere. It doesn't have to be right there on you like all these other pieces are. It has to have enough hose, a minimum of 300 feet of hose, or enough hose to be able to reach your entire job site from a road or whatever access points you have. On here I have 300 feet of fire hose. Just a common firefighting nozzle on it. Hopefully the wind isn't too loud in the microphone. It just started kicking up. Has a high pressure gasoline powered water pump. The Department of Forestry requires that it delivers a certain amount of volume at a certain amount of pressure at the end of the nozzle at 300 feet. I don't remember what the requirements are, but this does meet those requirements. On the supply side, it has an extra plug here that can be removed. You can attach another hose for a remote source of water. On the pressure side, it has this style, I can't remember what this is called, but this is what the fire engines use. A lot of the firefighting hoses use. Can't remember what it's called, but maybe somebody can say it in the comments. So this can be attached to the Department of Forestry's or another firefighting unit's equipment to provide pressure for them. Right here is where I had a different configuration, and I almost burned a hole in the tank with the exhaust on the engine. It's very useful and a lot of peace of mind to have something like this always on hand. Now you may be asking, what's the point of showing you my fire suppression trailer if I don't do a demonstration? That's a good point. I do like to start this up regularly to make sure it's running, make sure it's charged and ready to go in case I need it. So let's start this up and I'll show you how it works. There it is, it just squirts out a bunch of water. It's starting to get really windy. I should cut this short soon. One of the other things they require is what they call a fire watch. After we're doing any activity that could create sparks, we're supposed to stick around for at least an hour afterward to make sure there's no signs of smoke or nothing gets started on fire. At least that's at the first stage. When we get even deeper into fire season, it gets more dry. They require 2 hours, then they require a 3-hour fire watch. All of these rules and restrictions are just to get us through the hot, dry part of the summer when fire danger is high. After we start getting our fall rains, they'll drop fire season. We can eliminate all of these rules and restrictions. Most of the year we don't have to deal with all this. It's just that hottest, driest 3 or 4 months out of the year. One of these days soon, I'm going to do a video about this shipping container, what it is, what I did to it, and what it's for. I'll give you a little bit of a hint. For those of you who are interested in drying wood, you don't want to miss this one. Well, that's it for today's video. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on that one. Give me a like if you would. I'll see you on the next video.